Hey, you guys, have a world boss coming up soon. I'm fully buffed. I have pots and scrolls and all that nonsense. I'm just gonna have a bit of fun. The last time I did a world boss video was with Hercules, and so I got asked to do one with Gaia, so I'm gonna do that. Um, Usually I would still bring Hercules here. I can live the whole time if I just bring Restore and Herc and sometimes a heal rune as a last resort. So that's that. But I always forget that I can start with Thunder now. I have enough rage for that. Um, so here we go. Um, the basics of getting AFK mode to help you get double hits going are just choose a skill and press AFK mode. Let AFK mode cast a skill, and as that skill's casting, you choose another one. I kind of think of it as queuing skills because you're basically lining up skills for the future. So here, I use a little trick where I'm about to Sylph, and I start pressing a skill that I have Rage for, and that allows me to not use a rune and have my skills blinking in Sylph mode. So here we go. This is the power of Balin's basically, because I'm fully buffed. This boss really doesn't do much to me. I don't need a Guardian Rune. I don't need whatever, and it's very easy to just heal with Devour Soul using Gaia. So here we go. Just get my double hits through and cancel and press AFK mode once I cancel, and that means that immediately um, the computer will choose a skill for me when I get out, so I can just get right back into double hits. Um, Honestly, I really prefer Hercules in World Boss, not just because he does more damage, but also Hercules just has it's just much more smooth to me. I don't know how to explain it, but just every time I use one of the other sills, I feel like they're more clunky when you try to do double hits, whereas Hercules is just very easy to work with. So I'm going to do one bolt and get into Sylph. That 50k heal was my regeneration astral helping me out, which is always nice here in World Boss in case for whatever reason maybe I don't crit a Devour Soul and my health just gets behind. Can get a little risque, and so it's nice to be able to have that rune that not rune astral that helps out a little bit with the health. I'm a little bit laggy here, but luckily, this method for double hits is actually not too lag dependent. You can't really see or feel as well what you're about to do, but you can still pull off double hits with a lag. Just taking a peek at what's going on in guild chat. I think a lot of players, around like two. I think for a mage, 200 KBR might be a little bit light. Oh, did I just lose my double hits? Oh no, I'm good. Just the lag, basically. um, 200 KBR is pushing it. You really have to think about your HP stat. 200k HP is a bare minimum. 200k HP with a very good Guardian Rune might cut it, but you definitely want more of that. Also, world bosses, both of them definitely are more magical attack than physical, and also seem to do electrical damage. So having electrical resistance helps, which is just another reason to use Herc. Um, should he be the most powerful of your sylphs, well, Herc or Eve or whatnot, depending on where you are. But I would assume that most people who are able to survive World Boss have refined a Sylph by now. So here I could throw on, use a turn and use Restore to patch up my health, but I do think I'm going to be able to get in one Devour Soul before the next ultimate, and I also think that I'll be able to survive uh, with the health that I have here. Only because I'm Balin buffing. If I do not Balin, which is the vast majority of the time, right now I'm just willing to cash World Boss mostly because there's a big spender going on. But otherwise, sometimes I bring a Guardian Rune. So if I use Herc, then I bring a Guardian Rune. If I decide, maybe I'll try Gaia again, then I won't bring a Guardian Rune because it's much easier to survive the entire period with Gaia on just because of Devour Soul. But sometimes with Herc, things can get a little more hairy, so I just throw on a Guardian Rune as well. That said, this is the evening or the second world boss of the day, and which it does considerably less damage. Not just like a little bit. It's very, very impressive. This world boss I have no problem surviving without a Guardian Rune. Whereas the first one actually, it can be a toss up. If I don't Guardian Rune, it can go either way. So I don't even really understand why there's that bias with the bosses, but maybe one's just more popular or something. I don't understand what the logic is, but yeah, if the only world boss that you can make it to is the early one, and you're frustrated like, oh, why can all these people survive world boss and I can't, then try and get to the second world boss and you'll probably be much more likely to survive it. Um, I know even some of the other top players from my server who can survive the world boss hits, the second world boss hits, um, just fine. Still, some of them really really struggle with that first one. Get out, AFK. The interesting part, and I always worry about in this situation that maybe the computer will choose a restore when I don't really want to. But so far, the only times that it chooses restore are when I'm really, really low on health, something like less than 10%. So I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think that the AFK mode had much discretion that way, but it definitely does. The nice thing about restore is also is it does give a little bit of a protection buff. So if in the case of just not bringing a Guardian Rune, which I don't know why I haven't used this Brutality Rune yet, because it's too distracted trying to talk. But not having that Guardian Rune, the restore buff is kind of nice. So next self round, I should probably use some of these brutalities. Not that we have plenty of world boss to go. Still just finished the first bar. Our world boss is I think 11 billion HP or so. Um, I was talking to some other players, and theirs are upwards of like 15 or so 15 or 16. So I think that's probably like there's a next level of world boss HP, but my server I don't think is big enough to get that. I mean, I would require um, either a lot more big cashers or just a lot more people in order for us to get that kind of that size world boss. And once you start having that many people, you start to wonder what's going to happen to your world boss income. When there's a lot of people, you get less. That said, I would still trade a lower world boss income for an active server. You don't want your server to get super dead. It becomes too hard to do MPs and things like that. Um, so my server is still relatively active. I definitely wouldn't mind some more players or another merge, but that always drums up um, a lot of movement in the guilds and things. Once again, I'm just Too chatty. Too chatty for brutality, Rune. I forgot it again. Alright, somehow I will manage to remember this damn Rune. Looks like my buddy AP is probably gonna start using Aegis or Gaia now, but I think most people, if you can get away with living through the world boss ults, with Hercules, it really is better. He just does so much more damage. Your attack stat is higher. Um, so here, even if I have to use Hercules and have to use Restore in order to get some health, losing those turns that I could be attacking to use Restore is actually okay. Okay. So it's actually not a bad time to use this guy, except that I'm not going to be able to use the brutality on Devour Soul. Don't quite have enough time on it. One passive on that I think is the default one for oh no. Oh god. What happened? Okay, we're good. He used Devour Soul. I was a little concerned. Um One passive on Hades and on Gaia is when for I think it's like every 10% HP that you've lost, you'll deal 3% more damage, and that can be quite nice when you're really really low on health, and you can deal more damage with Devour Soul and gain back a little bit more HP, and sometimes it's actually nice to leave it the ultimate attack here until uh, the world boss strike hits, because then my HP is lower and I can and I can deal more damage that way. I lost count of the hits a little bit, so I'm glad that got in time, but I'm losing track of when the world boss ultimate attack is gonna hit. Sometimes that happens, and I just have to kind of keep a rhythm in my head. There is only so much time that it takes to go through about 6 moves. But yeah, here I got a double hit, so I hit the ultimate attack and Devour Soul in one turn. But I do feel like Gaia is a bit more clunky. I just with Hercules I can what's that bug? Sometimes in AFK mode it'll just randomly auto attack, and so I'll think that it's about to strike and that I can start up the double hits, and I really need to let it go for another turn. So I'm just gonna let it kind of reset for a second, and now I can continue. Yeah, that's better. Okay. You all set? Yeah. Alright, so one more thunder. Um, so, so yeah, I much prefer Hercules in this situation, just because I can get at least 2 turns with Hercules in Sylph mode that are double hits. One thing is I don't have the basic attack on her for the Electro Sylph that comes with Eve. Which is really nice in PvE situations, really terrible for PvP. Um, so there is a balance there. It's not something I don't feel like that much remorse not having the really basic attack anymore. Just because Jupiter's Wrath is very quick. It's an 8-second cooldown. But um, in the case of Gaia, I didn't get. I think it's called Death Harvest, which is another AOE. Just because I was concerned about giving up the really basic attack, which has a 1-second cooldown, just um, because the shortest skill that the shortest cooldown that that Gaia would have would be Devour Soul, which is 15 seconds, which is really a little bit too long. But I think it's pretty well established that Hercules is the strongest PvE Sylph. I think there are very few exceptions where um, where Gaia is actually better in PvE. I think there's definitely a few God's Descent and Sky Trail bosses and situations like that where the Devour Soul is really nice. Um, Gaia is a really, really great tanking Sylph just because of like the ability to heal yourself when you're up there and relieve the mages a little bit. Uh, but just sheer damage, Hercules is the better option. It's interesting. Who was it? I think it was maybe like Softy or one of those big archers I saw um in Battleground, and he was saying that Guardian Rune is kind of like the flavor of the week uh, rune these days. But I actually feel like it was quite popular with mages already. And I think it's archers who are starting to catch on. So I'm seeing a lot more archers with that Guardian Rune. I don't know if they bother to use it in World Boss. If you're an archer and you use Guardian Rune or don't use Guardian Rune in World Boss, let me know. I think most archers just get away with using Incendiary Shot. The 30% reduction seems to do the trick, but I'm not totally sure. But most mages know that Guardian Rune at first is the main way that they can survive World Boss. So they have that for PvE, and then Guardian Rune just became a really people started to realize that it was a really fantastic PvP rune as well. So still on the way to make that a 70% reduction, but not quite there yet. Oh, what's going on? It's like blinking and walking up to the boss. It's an interesting. I assume that's some sort of lag. I assume most problems with this game are a result of some sort of lag. Alright, well, bread for the win better be getting me a nice top finish. I have a feeling, just looking from names around, that probably somebody else is cashing. Just because I'm not no plans to die here. I can't really see the standings, but there is definitely at least a couple players willing to cash World Boss on my server. So depending on how many of them are awake for this one, everybody's encouraged by the big spender event to cash these types of things. So it might be that my income is greatly reduced. If nobody else cashes, then my income can be upwards of 20 million. I think the highest I've seen it go is 22, 23 million, somewhere around there. Um, just really all depends on the other players on my server, how willing they are to invest at the time. But yeah, I think because it's much more popular to cash this late night world boss, his HP state maintains pretty high, that 11 billion. But definitely anybody on a server who's less active will understand that HP can definitely be reduced. Our earlier world boss will sometimes go down to 7 billion, which is a little bit frustrating just because um, my income goes way, way, way down from that. Um, but definitely on average, I would say my world boss income for the later one is um, maybe like 10, 11 million without any buffs or balance or anything like that. And like a bad day would be maybe 9 million. So I do pretty well. Part of it is just like the right kind of like active player to world boss income ratio on my server. You know, if you have one of those servers that has like, you know, 12 server merges and you have like hundreds upon hundreds of active players and your world boss the HP is already capped, then I know some of those players. I was just talking to a smartass and she was saying that she makes a few million per world boss, which I would be a little bit frustrated with. So at least the level 80 players now can make up for that a bit through Dragon Invasion. So almost wrapping up World Boss. Um, Recently this week I got like 2 final hits, which was really awesome, but it had been a really long time since I'd gotten them. I feel like the trick is actually to be in AFK mode and not in Sylph mode at the end. I don't really try. It's usually a complete accident whether I'm in Sylph mode or in my class-based skills, but we'll see how it works out this time. But the nice part about not being in Sylph mode at the very end is that sometimes your Sylph will help you out. Your Sylph, or if you have troops on, the troops might help you with a little hit that can end up being the last one. Where's my QT? Oh, there we go. Somebody got some nice gear there. Lately with gold, I've pretty much just been working on astrals. And I lost my double hits all of a sudden. And astral effects if I'm feeling really lazy. I try to get the EXP, but sometimes I just end up pushing it into astral effects. Okay, so here I got 19 million, which is pretty good. I can get more if I full buff, but my guess is somebody else cash. Yeah, late nights at 7.77% of the world boss, and Robin's at almost 5. So they're taking a little bit of my income. Not that it's really mine; it's theirs to take as well. Um, so still really happy with that income. It's always fun to be able to cash world boss. I try not to do it regularly. I try to only take advantage of a big spender event. Type of deal. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and so now I at least have on record doing a world boss with both Herc and Gaia. I explained a little bit how to do double hits here, but I do my other video I think goes more step by step, and there's also you can also check out Cosmos Wartune blog, and there I kind of step by step go over how to get the double hits going. So I hope that helps, and take care and have a very good day.